Good day everyone, so my favorite topic, and that is Kokomi's Constellation. So if you're thinking of pulling for them, we're going to go into a bit of a deep dive, so this is the video for you, and otherwise you can just click off the video. Just one sort of point of order or housekeeping rule, and that is the background footage is just for your entertainment, so please don't read too much into it. And yes, this is a C6R5 Kokomi. So what makes Kokomi's Constellation so great? Well, I think this is the one character in which all her constellations stack really well with like the base sort of role compression of Kokomi. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a video on the Kokomi puzzle, but essentially Kokomi does 5 things. She applies Hydro, she's got an insane ability to attack from range, not as insane as Ganyu, but pretty decent. She deals moderate damage, she's got insane healing, and her ability to just tank, face tank, and provide team stability is just unparalleled in Genshin Impact. So all her constellations affect each one of these aspects in different ways, and that's mostly what you need to keep in mind when we go through them. Constellation 1 obviously gives you that additional fish during your Narit's ascension, and basically it allows you to do an additional instance of damage. It scales really well with attack speed. I've sort of done a video, and it's only affected by your HP percentage and hydro damage bonus, so those attack percentage substats on your artifacts kind of useless. I think the most important thing is against enemies like the Pyro Abyss Lecter and Abyss Mage, that extra fish is not considered normal attack damage, so it carries its own instance of Hydro application, obviously subject to internal cooldown rules, which will be explained in the pinned comment below. But essentially it allows you to just burn through any sort of Pyro characters and Pyro shields very, very quickly. So you can apply Hydro quite fast. And then finally, a lot of people have sort of said, well, if you do 2 normal attacks and jump cancel, you are better off. And yes, if you're playing support Kokomi, or if Kokomi is affected by cryo, that is indeed the case. But otherwise, if your Kokomi's got like a bit of attack speed, or you're sort of gearing up towards building your Kokomi as a main DPS, then C1 is just more fluid, smoother, and it's just generally going to give you a higher damage output for most people in any case. Kokomi's Constellation 2 is really awesome because if your health is below 50%, you obviously can heal faster. So in other words, you can bring up your team and back stabilize quicker. It gives you more like damage via the Ocean Clamp set if you've got it. It really does stack with a large HP pool, and the amount of like your Kokomi becomes not just immortal, she becomes super immortal, and it's just crazy what you can do. And yes, it makes other healers completely irrelevant. And then the other thing is, and this is a bit of a subtle point, but effectively characters like Raiden, Shogun, Eula, Ito, and perhaps even upcoming characters really do benefit from the fact that they don't need a shield for interruption resistance. So if they've got the jellyfish to play around, then essentially you can be very aggressive, like what I am on screen. Like with Xingqiu and Kokomi here, I'm just attacking, I'm not dodging, I'm just sort of like smashing this enemy because I've got that increased sort of interruption resistance, and that allows me to do more damage. Kokomi's Constellation 3 obviously increases all her talent levels, and basically more damage, more healing, more tanking, just more being insane with Kokomi. That's kind of what it does. So there's no real deep insights that I can give you into what this constellation does, but it does give you a bit of like an uplift, and it's pretty strong. Oh yeah, fun fact, this is the only part in the Spiral Abyss with against these 2 Hydro, what do you call it, Lectors that you can't do with this team. So yes, an eternity later, and we finally did manage to beat them. It was quite yeah, it was quite annoying to do so. But in any case, let's go to Constellation 4. I think Constellation 4 is definitely one of Kokomi's strongest constellations. Basically, it gives her attack speed. And what do you have when you have attack speed? Well, the animations and playing Kokomi is more fluid, so that's really quite nice. But it affects her ability to do more damage, more healing, more tanking. And that's ultimately what makes it such a great constellation. But not even that, the fact that you gain the additional energy restoration means you can sort of focus more on HP percentage substats than energy recharge. And if you've got Everlasting Moonclaw, well then the attack speed also gives you additional energy restoration. So again, all these little technical small things on paper it doesn't look to be that good, but when you consider everything it does via the attack speed and energy restoration, it's just an absolutely monstrous constellation. It's definitely one of my favorite ones, and it is it's like at this point where Kokomi main DPS is really starting to be enabled. And of course, if Kokomi is affected by cryo to some extent, you can sort of undo the slowing effect, which is really, really nice. Now let's talk about Constellation 5, Mr. Bakekurage. Basically all that it really does is it allows Bakekurage to do more damage, and don't think that his damage is negligible. I mean, if your Bakekurage does about, you can see it passively like 12k, 11k damage on screen. It's just, I mean, over an extended period of time, it really starts adding up. So it might be small numbers, but these small numbers do come up, and obviously it allows your team to just be like insanely immortal and so on. And finally, let's talk about Constellation 6, Sango Ishin. In other words, the Sango martial arts. Basically, what it means is you gain 40% hydro damage bonus, and this scales really well with your like Constellation 1. It allows you to just be a main DPS Kokomi. And the cool thing about it is it's like literally 40%, it's an additional hydro like damage cup. Or sorry, not cup, like goblet. And that's like what's so cool about it. It triggers whenever any character in the party is being healed and they've got more than 80% HP. Kokomi can trigger it herself, and overhealing does count. It is really the reason why you guys are seeing like the high damage numbers in the background, and it's because this constellation stacks with all the others, especially the attack speed, to just give you like this insane Kokomi, undiable, like this undying character. And yeah, that is what her constellations do. They affect all the aspects of her role compression, and that's what makes this character so self-consistent and beautiful. Is they're not just separate instances that are being tacked on as a premium feature. They really do bring out the best of the character. So yeah guys, I hope it'll go well in your summons and that you can pick up at least a constellation or two. Thanks for watching. Cheers.